talk today was about the connection between content and analytics. Tell me a bit about your working relationship at RGA and how your two teams work together as parts of the campaign development process.
So let me define the campaign development process at RGA first. It's really 4 different phases. The first one is planning the campaign. So it's getting the brief, understanding the target, looking for the insight, and then finding the big idea. The second part is executing the campaign, so developing the content. So that was one place where Vin's team and my team worked together. The third part is actually analyzing results and understanding what worked and what didn't work. And then the fourth phase is really optimizing, and that's really where we come back together again, because that's where we're going to change content and then drive it back into the process for executing new ideas.
What is that optimization process like? Because I imagine the creative execution side, it might be hard to respond directly to something in data.
The creative execution side can be informed by data on the upfront. So if you understand what the brief is, what the marketing goals of your client are, and then understanding the habits of the users or the habits of the consumers and that subset that you're trying to go after, it can inform the way that we'll create content. So Luane's group a lot of times will provide data and information on the types of video that people are watching, what gets clicked through, what doesn't, what people tend to stay on, what they don't, and then we can try to create content that is informed by that information and to hopefully have a stickiness factor that lasts. And then at the end of the process, we know exactly how it did based, from Luane's team. They'll tell us, so-and-so number of people watched, or there was a % drop-off rate, or whatever it was. So at the beginning of a brief process, there's at RGA style, there's a lot of different thinkers in different disciplines in the room at the table at the same time, and Luane's team and my team and several other teams, the interaction design side, the visual design side, production, there's all these different people in the mix on the upfront when we get a brief. And then you basically figure out what you want to make, go do it, and then see how it did afterwards.
This question is more for Vin. When producing digital video, do you think of it differently than you would producing something that was going to go on a television screen?
Nope. No, I've been in the production business for about 15 years. My background's in film, on the independent side, a little bit of the studio side. I've produced content for websites, I've produced content for TV screens, for TV commercials, for the film business, and I've always treated content the same way. The path to execution is always different. The reasons why you're making it and who you're making it for are always different. But my philosophy for when I started producing video for the web in 2003 was always broadcast quality, because you want to be able to repurpose that footage. So I never shot on some, I'm not allowed to curse, right?
No, you're not.
I never shot on some not so good piece of video equipment or camera. I got off of film very quickly when you were able to put adaptable lenses on mini DV cameras. But I've always treated, you want to have the best looking content possible. And you want to create for the medium, so you might shoot something cinema verite, or we were talking about that before, but you might shoot in different styles where you're on sticks with a locked off shot. You might want to do handheld, but we've always treated the quality of the content to be something that assume someone's going to like it and want to put it on a bigger screen. And that's been the case a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. And when a lot of people have been talking about measurement today and too much data, too little data, is it possible for you to sort of say when you're analyzing a video's performance, say before the optimization stage, what specific things are you looking for? What metrics are you prioritizing above others that you have in your arsenal?
Yeah, what are the metrics that we prioritize in terms of looking at video? I think it goes back to what's the whole campaign ecosystem, if you will. which is, in the example that we used on the stage just now, we talked about online advertising banners, so rich media, video banners, driving to destination website and driving to store locator, as well as driving to a YouTube channel. And I think there's, for different mediums, there's different things that we should be looking at. So if it's rich media and if it's video banners, we're really looking at the interaction rate. If we're actually driving to an outcome, we're looking through the click-through rate. And then we want to know what happens once people get to a destination that we've created. So I think we're looking at a lot of different measures. It really has to go back again to the goals that we're trying to accomplish. Sometimes you're not really interested in driving people to a destination, so you don't have a click-through. You just want people to see your online advertising banner, whether it's video or it's rich media. So there you're really looking at, did people see it? Did they engage with it? How long did they stay? I think in a lot of the media that we have today, when we're talking about video, especially in the example we just gave on the stage with a YouTube channel, we're also looking for people to share that content. So are people engaged in that content? Do they watch it on our YouTube channel? Do they then, broadcast that location to other friends of theirs on Facebook or on Twitter, so that we're also getting earned media as well? So I think I kind of like to look at it sort of that whole ecosystem of paid, owned, and earned media.
And now as we're getting towards the end of the interview, I'm going to ask a question that I've asked everybody, is what's hot right now in digital video that won't be a year from now? Do you have any ideas?
I think a lot of the, I'm sort of a purist, but I think that there needs to be, when I say purist, I mean, I get actually aggravated when I go to click on a video and there's a 30-second or minute long or a pre-roll that was a TV spot that's just being slapped on the web. I think you're going to see less and less of that. I think that there's going to be more creative ways of serving up advertising, data-driven content in the video space. I don't know exactly what that is, but I think that it's become this pendulum swinging where there was no advertising online. We're in a place where I think we're swinging out towards, it's becoming a little bit too interruptive. And some of the presentations that we saw here today have some interesting technology-based resources that allow you to have a dialogue with a brand and without it being a piece of linear video content. It might be more interactive, it might be something on the lower part of the screen. I just think we're going to see less of that, like, okay, it's a TV spot online. I could be totally wrong. Yeah. But as I'm not the target demographic, I'm close to 40, and you have the next wave of people coming up. They're used to receiving content a certain way. They're used to being able to watch things without interruption. And my daughter's 4.5, and she can't understand why you can't get everything on demand all the time. And that's just the world that we're living in. I think there's a place for video, for data-driven, marketing-minded, paid advertising. I just think the ecosystem of how we're doing it, it needs to change, and I think it will.
Yeah. I would hope that pre-roll actually goes away completely. Yeah, in terms of some of these spots.
I think it's interruptive.
It is very interruptive. And what I think might be happening in the future is more, I guess, immersive experiences. The two-screen idea, I think, is really something that's really going to take off even in an even more interesting way. And I think as marketers, we're going to start to capture that so that we're actually going to be engaging people at two screens simultaneously, and that will create almost an event where people can participate remotely in a community where they're experiencing the same thing and talking about it, even though they may be thousands of miles apart. So I think that sort of immersive experience, which is sort of kind of event-like, will actually start to take shape.
Particularly with the television and
any type of device.
Any type of device.
I mean, it depends. I mean, look at the habits of the consumers.
Well,
you have people who are watching television and they're surfing online. They're playing whatever it is. There's a way of engaging with that consumer without interrupting the broadcast or film or video experience, but still tapping into them through some other digital way and utilizing video.
Yeah.
The future.
Yeah, I think it will be much more interactive, so it won't necessarily be PC, you're sitting in front of your TV. You might be at a live event doing something, seeing video on your phone that's part of that experience. There'll be lots of different ways, and I think the third screen used to be your phone. I think it's really the first screen now. I think everybody's doing everything through their phone, and phones are becoming more and more sophisticated. So I think the phone device will be the one that will really take off.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, thank you.